Check to make sure we are streaming. Second. Yes, we are here. Interesting. Okay, so hello everybody. We are here in Fiji, and we have a disciple provided me a very, very nice place on the beach here. I mean, Krishna's been very kind to me. So we're out of the quarantine hotel, and we are situated in a very nice place with all sorts of amenities. Actually, I could show you for a second. Give me a second. Give you all a tour of where I am. So you can see before we start the class. Whoops. Okay, just give you a little, whoops. And stay closed. Okay, so just to give you an idea, let me just, okay. Just to give you an idea of where I'm staying, I'm gonna put another video up right now. Gallery. Okay. Give me a second. Okay, so this will give you an idea of something. This is where I'm staying now with the mercy of some of my disciples. Very nice place, right on the beach, actually. So, yeah. That was just a brief show. Nice place. Okay, so let me go back to the normal Zoom and continue with the class. Give me 1 second. Okay. Alrighty. Okay, sorry for that brief interlude. Krishna's provided us. So we have preaching programs all day today. We had nice reception as we left the hotel. There were devotees on the road with signs, which is really funny. A devotee on the sign welcomed me. And we're just very grateful to be here with the devotees, and we're just looking forward to seeing all these very, very nice devotees, thousands and thousands of devotees here. I've been missing them for the last 2 years or so. So, anyway. Oh. Okay. so let's start. And now I have my guitar with me so we can chant a little bit. 1 second. Alrighty. His Divine Grace, Abhaya Chamanam, bkgoswami, Srila Prabhupada, ISKCON founder Acharya, Srila Prabhupada, Jai, Adanta Koti, Vaishnava, Vrinda Jai. Namacharya, Srila Haridas Thakur, Prem Seko, Shri Krishna Caitanya, Prabhu Nityananda Shivaya Gadadha, Srila Sagar Bhakta Vrinda Jai, Shri Shri Radha Krishna, Gopi Gopinath, Shayam Kunda, Radhakunda, Giri Govardhan Ki Jai, Vrindavanam Ki Jai, Mathuranam Ki Jai, Jagadatasami Ki Jai, Yamunamai Ki Jai, Shrimati Lasini Ki Jai, Samaveda Bhakta Vrind Ki Jai, Gaur Premananda Hari Hari Bol. All glories the assembled devotees, all glories the assembled devotees, all glories the assembled devotees, all glories to Shri Guru Gauranga Shilpopad Ki Jai. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Shrimati Bhakti Vedanta Swamati Namani Namaste Saraswati Deve Gaurvani Pachani Never say Shunyavadi Paschata Deshatardi. So, without further ado, Om Ganat Vedanta Shah Gananjana Shlakaya Chakshur Unmeditam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the lotus feet of my spiritual master, His Divine Grace, Abhaya Chandananda Bhaktivedanta Goswami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada, who so kindly opened my eyes with the torchlight of knowledge while I was blinded in the darkness of ignorance. So it's good to see everybody. And as I mentioned before, we are here in Fiji, and the house of one of my disciples, right in a place called Naisoso. Okay, and we are going to speak about the Caitanya Charitamrta. We're on the Madhya Leela, chapter 20, I believe text 218 we're going to begin with today. Okay. Jaya Jaya Shri Caitanya, Jaya Nityananda, Jaya Dvaita Chandra, Jaya Gaur Bhakta Vrinda, Jaya Jaya Shri Caitanya, Jaya Nityananda, Jaya Dvaita Chandra, Jaya Gaur Bhakta Vrinda, Jaya Jaya Shri Caitanya, Jaya Nityananda, Jaya Dvaita Chandra, Jaya Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. So we are reading about Lord Chaitanya instructing Sanatana Goswami on Siddhanta of Krishna consciousness. Basically, so far what we've been reading has been Sambandha Gyan. Sambandha means basically the relationship between the different tattvas, and primarily we've been talking about the Vishnu tattvas and all the different types of expansions, and also, I guess, the Shakti tattvas and the Jiva tattvas and the empowered living entities. Anyway, all these different categories has gotten really technical the last 2 days. But don't worry, you don't have to remember the technicalities. You simply have to remember that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. All the other incarnations come from Him. And Krishna is non-different from all the other incarnations and expansions. And what else do you have to remember? And you're a servant of Krishna, you chant Krishna's name. That's all you got to remember. Okay? So let us continue. E Mata Brahmanda Majay Sabara Parakasha Saptadvipe Navakande Yanhara Vilasa. Within the universe, the Lord is situated in different spiritual manifestations. These are situated on 7 islands and 9 sections, thus their pastimes are going on. This is also a little technical. The 7 islands are mentioned in the Siddhanta Shiromani. Siddhanta means the perfect conclusion. Shiromani means like the jewel of the perfect conclusion. Bhomerardam Kshara Sindorudakstam Jambu Dvipam Prauracharya Varyaha Ardenya Simin Dvipa Shat Kashayam Ye Sharakshira Jambu Didham Niveshaha Shakandata Shamalam Matrakosham Groncham Jagome Daka Pushkarecha Dvayor Antaram Ekam Ekam Sambudrayor Vipam Daharanti The 7 islands, Dvipas, are known as 1 Jambu, 2 Shaka, 3 Shalmali, 4 Kushal, 5 Roja, 6 Gomeda or Laksha, and 7 Pushkara. The planets are called Dvipas, outer spaces like an ocean of air, just as there are islands in the watery ocean. These planets in the ocean of space are called Dvipas, or islands in outer space. There are 9 Khandas, known as 1 Bharata, 2 Kinkala, 3 Harya, 4 Kuru, 5 Ranmai, Maya, 6 Ramyaka, 7 Ilavrita, 8 Bhadrashva, and 9 Ketumala. These are different parts of Jambudvipa. A valley between the 2 mountains is called a Khanda or Varsha. Sarvatra Prakasha Tanra Bhakti Sukhadite Tikatera Dharma Nashi Dharma Stapite. The Lord is situated in all the universes in different forms just to please his devotees. Thus the Lord destroys irreligious principles and establishes religious principles. In the material world, the Lord is situated in different archamurtis, deities in the temples just to decrease the material activities of the conditioned soul and increase his spiritual activities. Particularly in India, there are many temples throughout the country. Actually, even in Vrindavan, there's 5,000 temples, more than 5,000 temples in Vrindavan. Devotees may take advantage of them and go to see the Lord at Jagannath Puri, Vrindavana, Prayag, Mathura, Haridwar, and Vishnu Kanchi. When the devotees travel to these places to see the Lord, they become very happy in devotional service. Of course, the real purpose of going to these places is to actually associate with the holy people there and hear about Krishna, and secondarily, to see the deities there. In Haramadye Karo Hayat Avatare Gannata Yaichi Vishnu Trivikrama Nrsinga Vamada. Actually, just before we talk about that, we'll talk about when Prabhupada was in Vrindavan with his spiritual master. There was a deity, Shivaradakshaya Vishnu, and all the devotees were supposed to go to see the deity, Shivaradakshaya Vishnu, and those who didn't want to go could stay back to hear from Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. And Srila Prabhupada was one of the few, or maybe the only one, apart from Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur's servants, who stayed back. And Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur was very pleased that he had stayed back and not gone to see the deity, and actually had gone to hear from this great pure devotee, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Of these forms, some are considered incarnations. Examples are Lord Vishnu, Lord Trivikrama, Lord Nrsinga, half man, half lion, and Lord Vamana. Astra Dhriti Beda, Nama Bedera Kanana, Chakrari Dharana Beda Shuna Sanatana. My dear Sanatana, just hear from me as I tell you how the different Vishnumurtis hold their weapons, beginning with the disc, and how they are named differently according to the placement of the weapons in their hands. And as I mentioned before, this weapons doesn't mean weapons in every case. There's 2 weapons, the disc and the club. But then there's the lotus and the conch, which are definitely not weapons, but they're symbols. Let's see what's the Sanskrit used here for weapons. Chakra adi. It just means the chakra and others, or beginning with the chakra. Dakshinado hastahite mamada paryanta chakrariyastradhanana kananaranta. The procedure for counting begins with the lower right hand and goes to the upper right hand, because I don't have an upper right hand, I just have a middle right hand. But Lord Vishnu has 4 hands. Okay, the upper left hand, the lower left hand. Lord Vishnu is named according to the order of the weapons he holds in his hands. Siddhartha Sangita Karecha Vishamurti Ganana Dharamate Hayage Chakrari Dharanha. According to the Siddhanta Samhita, there are 24 forms of Lord Vishnu. First I shall describe, according to the opinion of that book, the location of the weapons, beginning with the disc. The 24 forms are, we've read these before in previous verses, but that's all right. It's auspicious to recite the names of God because you make spiritual advancement. 1 Vasudeva, 2 Sankarsana, 3 Prajuna, 4 Aniruddha, 5 Keshava, 6 Narayana, 7 Madhava, 8 Govinda, 9 Vishnu, 10 Madhusudana, 11 Trivikrama, 12 Vamana, 3 Sridhara, 14 Rishikesha, 15 Padmanabha, 16 Damodara, 17 Purushottam, 18 Achyuta, 19 Nrsimha, 20 Janardana, 21 Hari, 22 Krishna, 23 Adhokshaja, and 24 Upendra. Vasudeva Gada Shankha Chakra Padmadhara Sankarshana Gada Shankha Padma Chakra Gada. In his lower right hand, Lord Vasudeva holds a club. In the upper right hand, a conch shell. See, the conch shell is not a weapon. In the upper left hand, a disc, and in the lower left hand, a lotus flower. Lotus flower is not a weapon either. In his lower right hand, Sankarshan holds a club, weapon. In his upper right hand, a conch shell, and his upper left hand, a lotus flower, and his lower left hand, a disc. Don't have to remember all of this. It's purifying to hear it. Don't try to remember it unless you're actually just like have a photographic memory. And I don't definitely remember the placement of all the different incarnations of the discs and everything in the cloud and the lotus flower and the conch. But it's blissful to hear this. Prajuna Chakra, Shankha Gada, Padma Dara, Aniruddha Chakra Gada, Shankha Padma Kara. Prajuna holds the disc, club, conch, and lotus. Aniruddha holds the disc, club, conch, and lotus. There's conch, club, and lotus. Oh, different order. Paravyo me vasudevadi, nija nija asratara, tanra matachaye, sabha astrakara. Thus in the spiritual sky, the expansions headed by Vasudeva hold weapons in their own respective order. I am repeating the opinion of the Siddhartha Samhita and describing them. Shri Keshava Padma Shankha Chakra Gada Dara Narayana Shankha Padma Gada Chakra Dara. Lord Keshava holds a lotus, conch, disc, and club. Lord Narayana holds a conch, lotus, club, and disc. This is the order. Shri Madhava Gada Chakra Shankha Padma Kara, Shri Govinda Chakra Gada Padma Shankha Dara. Lord Madhava holds a club, disc, conch, and lotus. Lord Govinda holds the disc, club, lotus, and conch. Vishnu Murti Gada Padma Shankha Chakra Dikara, Madhusudana Chakra Shankha Padma Gata Dara. Lord Vishnu holds the club, lotus, conch, and disc. Lord Madhusudana holds the disc, conch, lotus, and club. Trivikrama Padma Gada Chakra Shankha Kara, Sivamana Shankha Chakra Gada Padma Dara. Lord Trivikrama holds the lotus, club, disc, and conch. Lord Vamana holds the conch, disc, club, and lotus. Shirada Padma Chakra Gada Shankha Kara, Rishikesha Gada Chakra Padma Shankha Dara. Lord Shridhara holds the lotus, disc, club, and conch. Lord Rishikesh holds the club, disc, lotus, and conch. Padmanabha Shankha Padma Chakra Gada Kara, Damodara Padma Shankha Gada Chakra Dara. Lord Padmanabha holds the conch, lotus, disc, and club. Lord Damodara holds the lotus, conch, disc, club, and disc. Purushottama Chakra Padma Shankha Gada Dara, Shri Achyuta Gada Padma Chakra Shankha Dara. Lord Purushottama holds the disc, lotus, conch, and club. Lord Achyuta holds the club, lotus, disc, and conch. Shri Nrsimha Chakra Padma Gada Shankha Dara, Janardana Padma Chakra Shankha Gada Kara. Gada. Lord Nrsimha holds the disc, lotus, club, and conch. Lord Janardana holds the lotus, disc, conch, and club. Shri Hari Shankha Chakra Padma Gada Kara, Shri Krishna Shankha Gada Padma Chakra Kara. Shri Hari holds the conch, disc, lotus, and club. Lord Shri Krishna holds the conch, club, lotus, and disc. Adhokshaja Padma Gada Shankha Chakra Kara, Upendra Shankha Gada Chakra Padma Kara. Lord Adhokshaja holds the lotus, club, conch, and disc. Lord Upendra holds the conch, club, disc, and lotus. Hayashirsha Panchatrik Kaheshava Jana Paramatikayeva Chakradi Dharana. According to the Hayashirsha Pancharatra, there are 16 personalities. I shall now describe that opinion of how they hold the weapons. Whew. The 16 personalities are as follows: 1 Vasudeva, 2 Sankarsana, 3 Pradyumna, 4 Aniruddha, 5 Keshava, 6 Narayana, 7 Madhava, 8 Govinda, 9 Vishnu, 10 Madhusudana, 11 Trivikrama, 12 Vamana, 13 Sridhara, 14 Rishikesha, 15 Padmanabha, and 16 Damodara. Keshava Vedi, Padma Shanka Gada, Chakradara, Madhava Vedi, Chakra Gada, Shanka Padma Kara. Keshava is described differently as holding the lotus, conch, club, and disc, and Madhava is described as holding this club, conch, and lotus in his hands. Like I said, this may appear to be very repetitive. However, just by hearing this transcendental sound vibration, one gets purified. Just like when we chant Hare Krishna mantra, we get purified by repeating the same sound vibration over and over and over again. So we are glorifying the Lord and His attributes and His weapons and His blessing paraphernalia. Narayana Veda, Veda Nana Astra Veda Dara, Ityadika Veda, Esabastrakara. According to the Hayashirsha Pancharatra, Narayana and others are also presented differently as holding the weapons in different hands. Swayam Bhagavanara Leela Purushottama Edvi Namandare Vrajendra Nandana. Krishna, the original Supreme Personality of Godhead, indicated as the son of Maharaj Nanda, has 2 names. One is Swayam Bhagavan, that means the original Supreme Personality of Godhead, and the other is Leela Purushottama. So Leela means playful or pastimes, topmost person of pastimes. Purusha means person. Uttama means the topmost. It's like superlative. So the best person performing the Leelas, and that's Krishna. So these are 2 different names of Krishna. Really nice names. Swayam Bhagavan, and the other is Lila, the best playful person. Purira Avarana Rupe, Purira Navadeshe, Navavyuha Rupe, Navamurti, Varakashe. Lord Krishna personally surrounds Dwarka Puri as its protector. In different parts of the city, in 9 places, he expands in 9 different forms. Very interesting. Chatvaro Vasudevadya, Narayana Nrsimha Kau, Aigrivo Mahakrodo, Ramacheti Navoditaha. The 9 personalities mentioned are Vasudeva, Sankarshan, Pradyumna, Aniruddha, Narayana, Nrsimha, Hayagriva, Varaha, and Brahma. And of course, this Brahma is not Lord Brahma. Brahma, actually the word Brahma means the greatest, and so Krishna is the greatest. This verse is found in the Laghu Bhagavatamrita 1.451. The Brahma mentioned here is not a living entity, that's what I just said. Sometimes when there's a scarcity of living entities, take charge of Brahma's post. Mahavishnu expands himself as Lord Brahma. This Brahma is not considered to be a living entity as the expansion of Vishnu. So actually the word Brahma is the name of Krishna because it means the greatest. And even the name Shiva, which is generally taken as indicating Lord Shiva, the demigod Lord Shiva, is the name of Vishnu because it means auspicious or the most auspicious. Prakasha Vilasera Ekalun Vivarana Swam Sharaveda Eva Shuna Sanatana. I've already described the pastime in Prakash forms. Now please hear about the different personal expansions. Sankarshana Matsyadika Viveda Tantra Sankarshana Purusha Vatara Lila Vatara Hara. The first personal expansion is Sankarshana, and the others are incarnations, like the fish incarnation. Sankarshana expands as the Purusha, or Vishnu. The incarnations such as Madhya, the fish incarnation, appear in different yugas for specific pastimes. So Sankarsana is actually another name of Balaram, and that's the first expansion, and the others expansions of expansions or portions of plenary portions. And some of them are in human forms, like Lord Ram, and some of them are in animal forms. So all the incarnations appear from Vishnu, okay, in this world, okay, incarnation. In this particular world, in this world, or any of the material worlds, appear from Vishnu. But Krishna does not come from Vishnu. Vishnu comes from Krishna. Anyway. And the Vishnu incarnation. The Purusha avatars are the lords of the universal creation. They are Karanadakshay Vishnu, Garbhadakshay Vishnu, and Kshirodakshay Vishnu. So Purusha avatars means, the lords, basically. Purusha means the supreme lord, supreme man, whatever. Avatars. Avatar means to cross down. And Karanadakshay Vishnu is sometimes called the Mahavishnu. He lies down in a corner of the spiritual world in the causal ocean, and from him all the different universes emanate. And when they emanate from him, they expand as little bubbles. And each one of those universes has an expansion of this Mahavishnu called the Garbhodaksha Vishnu, who lies in the Garbhodak ocean. And from him comes Lord Brahma. And then the next expansion is the Kshirodakshay Vishnu. And Kshirodakshay Vishnu actually has a place in the universe, an island, which actually sometimes goes straight to Viva, but not in the spiritual world, an island in the ocean of milk. And this Kshirodakshay Vishnu is really, in one sense, the source of the various incarnations we see in this world, where they expand from him, let's say. And so that's the Purusha avatars. And then you have the Leela Avatars. Leela Avatars means the playful personalities who cross down. And these include Chatushana, that's the four Kumaras, Chatu means four. Narada, Muni, Varaha, the four incarnation, Macha, the fish incarnation, Yajna. Narayana, the twin sons of Dharma. 7, Kardami, Kapila, that means Lord Kapila Dev, who is the son of Kardama Muni. Dattatreya, Haya Shirsha, Hungsha, Dhruva Priya, or Krishnagarva. He appeared before Dhruva Maharaj. Hold on a second. Rishabhadev, Prithu, Nrsimha, Kurma, Dhanvantari, the medical incarnation, Mohini, the lady incarnation, who bewildered even Lord Shiva, Vamanadev, the dwarf incarnation, Bhargava, Parashurama, who killed all the Kshatriyas, Raghavendra, that's Lord Ram, Vyasadev, Pralambari Balaram, that means Balaram who killed Pralambasura, Krishna, Buddha, and Kalki. Kalki appears at the end of this Kali Yuga, and he wipes out all the rascals. Hopefully, we won't be there to see that. These 25 personalities of Godhead are known as the Leela Avatars, because they appear in each day of Brahma, or in each Kalpa, millennium. They're sometimes known as Kalpa Avatars. That's interesting. Of these incarnations, Hamsa and Mohini are neither permanent nor very well known. Hamsa means swan incarnation. Mohini is the incarnation who bewildered the demons. Who bewildered the demons and also bewildered Lord Shiva to take back, first of all, the demons to take back the nectar, and Lord Shiva just to show him that he's the Supreme Personality of Godhead, or she's the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But they are listed amongst the Prabhava avatars. Kapila, Dattatreya, Rishabha, Dhanvantari, and Vyasa are eternally situated and very widely known. So there's some that are very widely known and some that are not widely known. They're also counted amongst the Prabhava Avatars, or incarnations. Kurma, Madhya, Narayana, Varaha, Hayagriva, Krishnagarbha, and Baladeva, the killer of Kalambasura, are counted amongst the Vaibhava Avatars. Avatara Hoya Krishnara Sadvira Prakara Purushavatara Eka Leela Avatara Hara. There are 6 types of incarnations, avatars of Krishna. One comprises the incarnation of Vishnu, that's the Purusha Avatars, which we described before. Another comprises the incarnations meant for the performance of pastimes, that's Leela Avatars. Guna Avatara, Manvantara Avatara, Yuga Avatara, Hara Shatya Veshavatara. There are incarnations that control the material qualities. Guna Avatars, that's Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva. There's 3 of those. Incarnations associated with the reign of each Manu. Manvantara Avatars, up to 4 so far. And Manvantara, there's 1 in each Manu cycle. 14 of them in each day of Brahma. Incarnations in different millenniums. Yuga Avatars. Yuga Avatars, generally the one that teaches the Yuga Dharma, like Lord Caitanya is the Yuga Avatar for this Dharma. For this Yuga, or age, Yuga means age, and Krishna Nam Sankirtan. And incarnations, the 6th one is incarnations of empowered living entities, Shakta Vesha Avatars, such as Lord Buddha, such as His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada, such as Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, such as any pure devotee who's preaching, basically. Shakta Vesh, he's given the potency. Prithu Maharaj is one of those 2. The Guna Avatars are 3. This is what I just described. Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, and Lord Vishnu. Bhagavatam 10.88.3. The avatars associated with the reign of each Manu, known as Manvanta avatars, are listed as follows in Srimad Bhagavatam, 8th canto, chapters 1, 5, and 13. 1 Yajna, 2 Vibhu, 3 Satyasena, 4 Hari, 5 Vaikuntha, 6 Ajita, 7 Vamana, 8 Sarvabhauma, 9 Rishaba, 10 Vishwakshena, 11 Dharmashetu, 12 Sudama, 13 Yogeshvara, and 14 Brihadbani. Like I said, there's 14 of those, because it's 14 in each day of Lord Brahma. Altogether, there's 14 in number, and of these 3, Yajna and Vamana are also counted among the Leela Avatars. All these Manvanta incarnations are sometimes called Vaibhava Avatars. The 4 Yuga Avatars are Shukla, white, in Satya Yuga, Srimad Bhagavatam 11.5.21, Rakta, red, and Treta Yuga, Srimad Bhagavatam 11.5.24, 3 Shama, dark blue, and Dwapara Yuga 11.5.27, guess who that is? Krishna. And 4 generally Krishna black, but in special cases, Pita, yellow, as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Kali Yuga, Srimad Bhagavatam 11.5.32 and 10.8.13. The Shaktavesha avatars are categorized into 1 forms of the divine absorption, Bhagavat Avesha, such as Kapila or Rishabhadev. In other words, the empowered living entities, jiva souls, are categorized in different categories. 1, forms of divine absorption, that means those who are absorbed in Supreme Absolute Truth. 2, divinely empowered forms, Shaktavesh, of whom 7 are foremost. 1, Sheshanag in the Vaikuntha world, empowered for the personal service of the Supreme Lord. He's also Vishnutaka, that's interesting. 2, Anantadev, empowered to bear all the planets within the universe, Bhu, Dharana, Shakti. 3, Lord Brahma, empowered with the energy to create the cosmic manifestation, Shrishti, Shakti. 4 Chatushna, or the 4 Kumaras, specifically empowered to distribute transcendental knowledge. Jnana Shakti. 5 Narada Muni, empowered to distribute devotional service, Bhakti Shakti. 6 Maharaj Prithu, specifically empowered to rule and maintain the living entities, Halana Shakti. And 7 Parshuram, specifically empowered to cut down rogues and demons, Dushta Damana Shakti. Hold on a second. Balya Bhagwanda Haya Vigrahera Dharma Eto Rupe Leela Karena Rajendra Nandana. Childhood and boyhood are the typical ages of the deity. Krishna, the son of Maharaj Nanda, performed his pastimes as a child and as a boy. Ananda Avatara Krishnera Nahi Gaganana Shaka Chandranyaya Kari Digdarashana. There are innumerable incarnations of Krishna, and there's no possibility of counting them. We can simply indicate them by giving the example of the moon and the branches of a tree. And Prabhupada explains this particular example. Although the moon appears to be located in the branches of a tree, it is actually situated far, far away. Similarly, none of the avatars or incarnations of Lord Krishna are within this material world, but they are visible by the causeless mercy of the Lord. We should not consider them to belong to this material world, as stated by Lord Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita, Avajnandimam Mudha, Manushim Tanamashratam, Param Bhavam Ajananto, Mama Bhuta Maheshwaram. Fools deride me when I descend in the human form. They do not know my transcendental nature as the Supreme Lord of all that be. Avatars descend of their own free will, and although they may act like ordinary human beings, they do not belong to this material world. Lord Krishna and his avatars can be understood only by the grace of the Lord. Nayamatma prabhat chanena labdvo namadya nabahuna shutsena yamevasya vrinute tena labhyas tashayishatma vivrinute tanum swam. Kathopanishad 1:2-23. The Supreme Lord is not obtained by the means of expert explanations, vast intelligence, or even much hearing. He is obtained only by one who he himself chooses. To such a person, he manifests his own form. Atapite deva padam bhujadvaya prasada leshanu grahita hevahi janati tatvam bhagavan mahim dho nachanye kopi chiram vichinvan. My Lord, if one is favored by even a slight trace of the mercy of your lotus feet, he can understand the greatness of your personality. But those who speculate to understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead are unable to know you, even though they continue studying the Vedas for many years. So avatara yasangyeya hare satpadnere drijaha yatha vidhasana kudya sarasasyu sahasrashaha. O learned Brahmanas, just as hundreds and thousands of small rivulets issue from the great reservoirs of water, innumerable incarnations flow from Srihari, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and the reservoir of all power. This is also in the Bhagavatam is described that there is many incarnations of Krishna as there are waves in the ocean. They're coming one after, in other words, unlimited. Also, Prabhupada describes that Krishna has incarnations in every single species of life. That's quite interesting. And that means more than every single species of life, because, let's say, Lord Nrsimhadev is not a species of life. Half man, half lion is not a species of life. It's a combination. So sometimes Krishna combines, like Hayagriva, the horse-headed incarnation. So there's actually unlimited permutations of incarnations. This verse is quoted from Srimad Bhagavatam 1:3-26. Ratame Kare Krishna Purusha Avatara Seta Purusha Haya Trivida Prakara. In the beginning, Krishna incarnates himself as the Purusha Avatars, or Vishnu incarnations. These are of three types. Up to this verse, the many types of expansions have been described. Now the manifestations of the Lord's different potencies will be described. Interesting. Okay. Vishnostu tveni rupani purushakyam yato vidu ekam tu mahata shrastri kritiyam tvanda samskitam tri yam sarvabhutastam anidyatva vyuchyate. Vishnu has three forms called Purushas. The first, Mahavishnu, is the creator of the total material energy, Mahat. The second is Garbhodaksha, who is situated within each universe. And the third is Kshirodaksha. We have actually talked about this before, who lives in the heart of every living entity. He who knows these three becomes liberated from the clutches of Maya. So that's Mahavishnu, is also called Karanandaksha Vishnu, who lies down. We described this a few minutes ago. In the ocean, the causal ocean, he lies down and he glances at the material energy. And the material energy, actually there's several things. The material energy, when he breathes out, expands from his body in the pradhana state. And then he glances at those little bubbles, unlimited bubbles of universes. And each and every universe, he implants all the living entities, and that glance is called Shambhu or Shiva. And then he enters into each and every universe as the Garbhodaksha Vishnu. And that Garbhodaksha Vishnu gives birth to Lord Brahma. And then he expands as the Kshirodaksha Vishnu in everyone's heart. And also from the Kshirodaksha Vishnu come the various avatars or incarnations of Krishna within this universe. This verse appears in the Lagu Bhagavatamrita Purva Kanda 2.9, where it has been quoted from the Sattva Tantra. Ananda Shakti Madhya Krishna Ratina Shakti Pradhana Icha Shakti Jnana Shakti Kriya Shakti Nama. Krishna has unlimited potencies, out of which three are chief. His willpower, the power of knowledge, and the power of creative energy, and the creative energy. That's interesting. His willpower, think about this. What he wants happens. It's not just like, I have some willpower, and what I want usually doesn't happen. So Krishna's will is non-different from the execution of his will. So that's his potency. That's why Krishna's called Swarat. That's why another aspect of Krishna is aptakama. He gets what he wants. Power of knowledge means he's omniscient. Omniscient, knows everything, In the Bhagavad Gita even says, I know everything past, present, and future. And then Krishna's able to create anything he wants and creates this material world. Anyway, so that's all we have time for today. We went to text 252, 218 to 252. Okay, a lot of this stuff is technical, but it's interesting to hear, but you don't have to remember all these things. There's certain things you got to remember, obviously. Mahavishnu, Garbhodaksha Vishnu, Kshirodaksha Vishnu, things like that, but all these different categories, Vaibhava, Prakash, Vaibhava, Vilas. You're not going to be tested on it. Don't worry. You can still go back to Godhead without remembering all those things. All right. So now we are going to take some questions from all of you, if you'd like to ask questions. I have to end exactly right before the hour because I have another call scheduled at that particular time. So I'm going to allow you to unmute yourselves and raise your hands. And hold on a second. Let me pull up the chat window and ask questions in the chat window. Okay. Okay, here's a question. Wow, there's already questions there. Hare Krishna Gurudev, the Yuga Avatars. Whoops. Oh, more questions. I will less. The Yuga Avatars, white and red, are these Hamsa and Varaha? Hamsa, I know, he's the first one. Varaha actually occurs in the beginning too. I wouldn't say Varaha, and it's different in each. It's actually different in each cycle of yugas too. Okay, that's good. It's different in each cycle of yugas who are the Yuga Avatars. It's just the different colors of each of them. But I know in this Satya Yuga it's Hamsa. I don't think it's Varaha in the second one. It wouldn't be. So, Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj, as today we touch upon Canto 1, 2, 5, and Canto 11, I was reflecting on Caitanya Charitamrta, as all the Bhagavatam simplified in it by Caitanya Mahaprabhu being devoted. Yes, that is true. The Bhagavatam, the essence of the Bhagavatam is actually contained in the Caitanya. All the teachings of the Bhagavatam are contained in the Caitanya Charitamrita. Perhaps not all the stories in their completeness, not all the prayers in their completeness, but the philosophy of the Bhagavatam. It's almost like a commentary on the Bhagavatam. The whole philosophy of the Bhagavatam and the Siddhanta. Let's talk about philosophy. The Sambandha, Abhideya, and Prayojana of the Bhagavatam are contained there. Sambandha means the definitions of the interactions and the different tattvas, like Jiva Tattva, Vishnu Tattva, Shakti Tattva, etc., are described in the Caitanya Charitamrita. And then also the process of becoming Krishna conscious. This is described in the Caitanya Charitamrita as it is in the Bhagavatam, and also the ultimate goal is described in the Caitanya Charitamrita. So yes, it's like Lord Chaitanya presenting the essence of the Bhagavatam to us in the Caitanya Charitamrita. Very good. Good realization. Okay. Who else has a question? Oh, Madhya, you have a question.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Guru Maharaj. So, earlier, I think the simplest way, one sloka I talked about that, as you said, no need to remember, it's not important. But one example to understand various incarnations was that Krishna has innumerable incarnations. And to understand this, example was given moon and branches of a tree. So I understand branches of tree, one main trunk Krishna and all our branches. Good example. How to understand from moon, how various innumerable incarnations to the example of moon.
Well, you see the moon, if you're looking at a tree and you see that, you actually can see the moon in different branches of the trees. That's why that example is given. Like if you look at different branches of a tree and you're looking through the branches at the moon, it appears that it's on all the different branches. And that's why that example is given. It wasn't fully explained in the purport, but that's why that example is given. Is that right?
Yeah.
Just like it also if you look at the moon on different bodies of water, like different lakes or different rivers, the moon appears different or reflected differently according to the body that it's reflected on, but the moon is always the same. So the example is given is that the Supreme Personality of Godhead, as we've oftentimes spoken in these classes, that the Supreme Personality of Godhead is one, and he manifests himself in different places simultaneously, but he's always the same person. There's not many persons, like we talk about many incarnations of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and many expansions. They're not different persons. They're all, or he's all, they're all, he's all, whatever. They're all the same person, acting differently in different circumstances. And sometimes when Krishna is acting differently in different circumstances and comes in contact with himself, he basically forgets he's the same person because of Yogamaya. But when Krishna's interacting with Balaram, for example, when Krishna made the arrangement for Arjuna to kidnap Subhadra, and Balaram was very angry at that, I don't think that Balaram was thinking, hey, that's me who made this arrangement. But Balaram is not different from Krishna. I mean, it's inconceivable. It's actually inconceivable if you think about it. Balaram is non-different from Krishna, yet he's disagreeing with Krishna, yet he doesn't remember he's the same person. If you understand it, then you're better than a jiva soul. But that's really what's happening there. It's really inconceivable how Krishna can be in unlimited places simultaneously, but he remains the same person. It is inconceivable. That's why we have the word achintya shakti, the inconceivable potency of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Is that all right?
Yes, Maharaj. Thank you so much.
Good to see you. So, who else has a question? Anybody else has a question or comment? You can raise your hand or type in the window, or you can. What else can you do? You can unmute yourself and say something. Okay, no one else has a question. Okay, so I guess we'll see everybody tomorrow. Same time, same station. Tomorrow here is Saturday. We have several things going on Saturday. Tonight we have a reception, big reception, with a lot of people. And I'm going to probably be broadcasting that. I'm not sure if it's going to be on Zoom, but at least it will be on Facebook and hopefully YouTube, or at least YouTube and Facebook, who knows. So you're welcome to watch that tonight or join us if you happen to be in Fiji. There'll be an initiation on Sunday, during the Sunday program. Not tonight. Tonight is just a reception, not just reception, there'll be thousands of people there. Oh my God, thousands of people. Because I haven't seen the devotees for 2 years, almost 2 years now. Okay, thank you all for joining us. All glories to His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada ki